Hey, are you struggling with addiction, or do you know someone that's struggling with addiction? Well, this video is going to be for you. Today I'm going to be talking about the struggles that people that are head of households struggle with when they're dealing with an addiction problem with family, loved ones, and significant others. Today's topic is called the driver's seat. What do I mean by the driver's seat? Well, the head of household struggles with a severe addiction problem, and it could cause like major problems for the whole household. This person is probably more likely responsible for all the finances of the house and all the major responsibilities to make sure that all the bills are paid. And the addiction caused the family to go into a financial ditch or some kind of emotional pain related to that person's struggle. In this type of situation, it causes other family members to have to step up and be able to take on the part of being the head of the household while somebody is struggling with addiction. The head of household wants help and decides to go to treatment to address their addiction problem. Typically, treatment lasts a few days in detox or a 30-day residential program or 6 months to a year residential program. Based on my experience, the most effective out of the three is the 6 months to 1 year residential treatment program. And the reason why I say that is because it gives the individual that's struggling with addiction the ability to rebuild their life in a holistic approach, meaning like the mind, body, spirit, and emotion. And so all of those are stuff that you will get in a 6 month to a 12-month program that also have like an aftercare component that would be able to help an individual follow up with aftercare services once they complete the service, so that they're not just out there with this new skill to be able to control their addiction, but also have support, which is the most important step out of the addiction recovery process. You have to have like a great support system from family, significant others, and loved ones. And then also in a residential treatment program, they're treating the person and not just the condition. They're addressing the root causes of the issues, and they're encouraging self-awareness, personal responsibility, active participation in health and wellness, integrating multiple forms of care from conventional medicine to complementary therapies. The problem is, once the head of the household person is out of treatment, they automatically expect to be back in the driver's seat of the household. When I worked at Meta, for short, in that program, we had a lot of people that went into treatment, and then when they came out of treatment, they pretty much felt like their family needed to accept them immediately, and they get back into the position of authority that they had within the household. One of the things that I made sure that I helped them with in terms of planning them for coming out of treatment is to make sure that they understood that their family or their significant other needs some time for them to see the work that they have done to be demonstrated, and not just allow them to just come out and just control everything again. Because the last time that happened, that individual ended up driving the whole family in a ditch. And the goal is to make sure that don't happen anymore, and to build trust with family and significant others. And what does that look like when the family member gets that kind of support? It's supposed to look robust, and like support network like AA, NA meetings, church, religious programs, significant other or family, telling all your support network how to hold you accountable. That's very important. You don't want to be out there and they don't know when you're struggling. You want them to know exactly when you're struggling so that they can step in and say, hey, Watz, you need to slow down. I see you doing XYZ, and XYZ is taking you down this road, and I need you to slow it down a little bit. And that would allow me to slow down and think about what they're saying, and then hopefully I'm receptive to that feedback so that I'll be able to make that change. Everything that we've learned so far in this video will help the person that's struggling with addiction get back into the driver's seat as they build trust through time and them doing things. One thing I tell people who struggle with addiction, once you've struggled with addiction and people know you struggle with addiction, you have to take time for them to see that you have changed. Like, you can't just expect them to believe that you're going to come from having a struggle and to now have everything back together again. You have to show them evidence by doing things, not just saying things. A lot of time people who struggle with addiction could say, oh, I'm okay now. But yeah, being okay now doesn't mean that you have everything under control. Being okay means that you're able to use the support network that you have so that they can help you as you go through this journey. And one thing about addiction, it's a lifelong journey. It's not something that today you can just snap your finger and say it's done. It's something that you have to work on for the rest of your life. Once you have struggled with addiction, there's no off button. You have to constantly work on it so that you can eventually be able to move forward and be successful. Some of the challenges that I've found with people who have struggled with addiction is that they struggle with the cost, trying to get into treatment, the waiting list, also legal issues, etc. So those are some of the major challenges, and sometimes it may involve them being in jail or incarcerated, and whatever that situation may be, those are some of the major challenges. But once you're able to create that support network that you have, you'll be able to move forward and move past this. And I hope that this episode was useful to you to have an idea of how to support somebody that's in the driver's seat that had a struggling problem, and how to get them back into the driver's seat through time and through them showing the commitment that they're gonna not do that anymore.